Mr. Melvin Yong.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, I stand in support of the bill. The statistics from the International Air Transport Association are alarming. Over 58,000 unruly passenger incidents were reported on aircraft in flight between 2007 and 2016. An IATA survey in 2015 also found that handling unruly passengers is one of the key concerns of cabin crew, along with unexpected turbulence and inadvertent flight deployment. As highlighted by the Minister, Singapore is a major air transport hub with more than 7,000 weekly scheduled flights. This means an aircraft takes off or lands at our Changi Airport roughly once every 90 seconds. It is timely, therefore, that our legislation last year, United Airlines wanted to bump off 4 passengers off the flight as it was overbooked, and Dr. David Dow was one of the selected passengers. He refused, and airport security was alerted. He was then forcefully dragged off the plane. The CEO of United Airlines deemed the screaming passenger as disruptive and belligerent in the initial press release. In his definition, Dr. David Dow was an unruly passenger, though the CEO later issued an apology when the video went viral on the social media. In my view, it is important to have a clear definition of what constitutes an unruly passenger, and having a clear list of offences or what would be deemed as unruly behaviour would certainly be useful to set the OB markers. Next, I would like to touch on enhancing training for aviation workers. Is the current training sufficient? According to IATA, the top 3 factors causing an unruly behaviour in flight are intoxication through alcohol and narcotics, compliance with smoking and other regulation, and disputes between passengers. While cabin crew today are trained to handle unruly behaviour on board the flight, I think training should address the primary causes of unruly behaviour so that we can equip cabin crew to prevent an unruly incident from happening in the first place. And as my colleague Professor Fatima Latif has mentioned, what about training for ground staff and even retailers at the airport? Can these frontline staff be trained to identify potential problematic passengers before they board the plane? For example, are F&B retailers at the airport trained to look out for passengers who already appear to be intoxicated while in transit or while waiting to board? Mr. Speaker, unruly passengers are not confined to one airline or one airport. Would the aviation authorities consider working together to establish a common database among airlines to centralize details of recalcitrant unruly passengers? Such a database would allow the airlines to take appropriate precautionary actions against these passengers, including refusal of service. The database could also serve as a forewarning system for cabin crew and ground staff to pay particular attention to these passengers on board the aircraft. Unruly behaviour in extreme cases can threaten the safety of everyone on board the aircraft. Mr. Deputy Speaker, the aviation industry is a key driver of Singapore's economy, providing more than 160,000 jobs and contributing to about 6% of Singapore's GDP. The steady growth in our aviation industry is expected to continue, with Asia as the center of economic growth in the next decade. The amendments to this bill are timely and essential in ensuring the safety and security of both the passengers and our workers in the industry. With that, I support the bill.